Hello, everyone. Thanks for listening to Wake Up, Look Up, a podcast where we connect events happening in real time to the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Zach Wyrock. And in today's episode, we're asking the question, are we losing middle schoolers? This is prompted by a pretty thought-provoking article I read in The Atlantic this week by Ginny Anderson and Rebecca Winthrop. And it was talking about a coming crisis of middle school students as it relates to education. Now, I'm the father to one current middle schooler and two future middle schoolers. This is especially relevant for me. And what we're seeing is that more and more middle schoolers are disconnecting from traditional education. They're going through the motions in what they themselves are calling passenger mode, meaning we're there and we're doing what you want us to do, but we're not super engaged. In fact, studies are showing that 65% of parents in this age bracket believe their kids love school, but 26% of middle schoolers say that they get really anything out of school. I mean, that is a staggering stat. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't remember junior high being the pinnacle of my life, but 26% of kids saying school is worthwhile is a pretty staggeringly low amount. And it's leading to now a 2 or 3 year window of kind of meaninglessness and apathy. And of course, it doesn't follow that a kid who checks out of 6th, 7th, 8th grade then becomes the most engaged high school student. It's tough to flip that switch after 3 years of developing a pattern that I go through the motions in school, but I don't really engage. And what Anderson and Winthrop are arguing is it could be that the traditional educational model just isn't working for that generation, that kids need more ownership, more application, more autonomy, and less sitting in a classroom and staring at the wall. Now, listen, I'm not an educator, so I think about this as a parent, but I also think about it as a pastor, because I think it falls to me and to all church leaders to make sure we're effectively engaging the next generation. And we're rethinking traditional models of how we, even as a church, have engaged middle school and high school students and are making sure that the way we're doing it makes sense for the generation we're actually trying to reach. Because part of what middle schoolers are saying is they just don't feel any purpose when they go to school, that school's like a conveyor belt. You just kind of check the box and move downstream towards what they hope is future excitement. And what I hear in that is that they're hungry for purpose. They're just not finding it in school. And they should be hungry for purpose. That's what the Bible is offering each and every one of us. When God made Adam and Eve, he gave them the purpose of dominion over the earth. Even in the book of Revelation, Jesus says in Revelation 21:5, "Behold, I am making all things new." God is giving his people the purpose of earth renewal, cultural renewal, with our eyes on the horizon, waiting for the return of Jesus. That's an incredible amount of purpose. Are we teaching that to middle school students, though? Because in churches, if we adopt the classroom model, we're going to lose them just like anyone else. If 26% of middle schoolers think education is working in school, I have to imagine that number is even lower in church. We have to continue to push this generation to experience Christianity, not just be taught it. We got to get them out in the mission field, get them out in the environments where God is on the move. I'm wearing a sweatshirt from one of the churches that our church has planted. We got to get middle schoolers into the world of church planting. Let them see a God who is on the move. Let them see neighborhoods that are being affected by the gospel, moving them to ownership of their faith and not just conveyor belt compliance, which is what I worry we're after. As parents and as educators and as pastors, sometimes we're just looking for very little disruption, but that's the antithesis of actually teaching, of training middle schoolers to own their faith and to think for themselves. After all, Jesus gave his church the Great Commission in Matthew 28 when he said to take the gospel to the nations. A generation of apathetic, overly compliant passenger mode people is not going to lead to Great Commission fulfillment. So if you're the parent of a middle schooler, of an upcoming middle schooler, rethink the way you're teaching them the Bible. Let's get more hands-on learning happening and less classroom approach. If you're a children's ministry volunteer, a student ministry volunteer, or a member of my staff, let's make sure the ways we're reaching this generation are tailored to them and not to generations years and years ago. Middle schoolers are too important to the mission of Jesus and to the kingdom to lose them. So we cannot be complacent ourselves. No more passenger mode. We're shifting to mission mode to reach and help middle schoolers find their purpose in Jesus. Hey, thanks so much for watching this episode of Wake Up, Look Up. While you're here, take a minute to like and subscribe. Really helps us get the word out. Don't hesitate to leave a review wherever you might find this podcast on an audio level and help spread the word. And hey, while you're here, check out all the other content we have at Christ Community Chapel on YouTube. Some of those videos are popping up on the screen now. Click on one.